Are you the exception to the rule? My name is Joseph Darling. This is the Men of High Value channel. And here we're taking you to success and abundance in every single category of life, success being achieving joy, bliss, and happiness. So let's get right into it. What is the rule? The rule is that the vast majority of people, and we're talking the vast majority of people, we're talking 80%, maybe 90% of people, do not have a massive work ethic. In order for there to be abundance, there needs to be some form of a value exchange that you're bringing to the world. You are making yourself useful, okay? The utility of you being masculine and tapping into a massive work ethic is the number one step to becoming useful. But not only useful, but massively useful to the world. It's not all about developing a massive work ethic, but it's the number one step. It's the foundational step, if you will. None of the other success principles like affirmations and law of attraction and all that good stuff happens before you implement that step of massive work ethic. And the vast majority of people just simply don't have it. They weren't raised in an environment where that was the normal way of living. Back in the days, everyone had a massive work ethic because if you didn't work, you didn't eat. There was no welfare programs. You might have had parents that were rich, but that was very few and far between. And in today's age, we have massive abundance, which is fake, by the way, because of the massive, huge debt balloon that has been created by the federal governments devaluing every single country's currencies. But people don't realize that this abundance is short-lasting. And at some point in time, the likelihood that the vast majority of people are going to have to return back to developing a massive work ethic just to eat might just become reality. And we're helping you to step ahead of that curve and actually create massive abundance right now so that you're prepared for that time. So if the rule is that the vast majority of people's work ethics suck, how can we unsuck that reality? And the way to do it is for you to be put in a situation where you're forced to do it on a continual daily basis until it's just simply who you are. And the way to go about that is by getting 3 jobs. If you can do it with 1 or 2 jobs, don't matter, but the goal is to get to 80-hour work week in a situation where people are watching you and making sure that you're being productive the entire time that you are at work because someone else is paying you for being there. You need to get to the point of 11.5 hours every single day, 7 days a week. This is what a massive work ethic looks like, and the vast majority of people don't have it. The fact of the matter, and the third rule in all of this, is that you will never, ever build a successful business without having a massive work ethic first. And yet everyone has the potential of becoming an entrepreneur and having the capacity of becoming multi-millionaires in this lifetime, no matter who you are, as long as you've got a proper head on your shoulders, and I think most of you do. You can actually have that, but it starts with the massive work ethic. So here we go. Are you the exception? I would tell you no. The vast majority of the time, you are not the exception. The exception to the rule is like 1 out of 20 guys, okay? The 5% of the people hearing this, they actually have a legitimate excuse for why they cannot put in the 80 hours, okay? If you do have a legitimate excuse, I'd love to hear it in the comment section, and maybe I can tackle that in one of the future videos. But 95% of you are not the exception. But Joseph, I have an addiction. I can't do the 80-hour work week until I've solved this addiction. Or Joseph, I've found the love of my life. I need to spend time with her because she says that if I don't spend time with her, then she's going to dump me. Or Joseph, eventually I'm going to do the 80-hour work week, but first I have to study in school because my parents told me if I quit, they're going to kill me. And so on and yada yada and whatever else you can come up with. These are all excuses, by the way. You're not the exception to the rule. This is the rule as well, is that everyone has an excuse for not doing the 80-hour work week. So if I actually created a poll in the community post, guess what? 5% of you guys would actually be doing the 80-hour work week, and 95% of you guys won't. Everyone thinks that they're the exception to the rule, and as a result, everyone's stuck. No one's going anywhere, and no one's building a business. And that's basically not tapping into your potential, which is not acceptable. We're literally here on planet Earth to fulfill our potential. Are you fulfilling your potential? If you're making excuses saying that you can't put in an 80-hour work week, you're not fulfilling your potential, because all of us, okay, the vast majority of us are able to do that. But I do want to say that everyone who believes that they're the exception, they're right, but they're also wrong. So let's explain that first. Most of you guys think that you're the exception to the rule. You can't do this, you can't do that. It doesn't really matter. You're wrong. You can totally do the 80-hour work week. If everyone is the exception to the rule, that's not an exception to the rule. That means that very, very, very few people are the exception to the rule, right? It's literally the opposite of what you think. Because did you get the math here? Like 80% of you guys, 95% of you guys believe you're the exception to the rule, so you don't put in the 80-hour work week. And so as a result, you're doing the same thing that everyone else is doing, which means that you are the rule. You're making your own rules, and those rules don't work in the world of success. And what does that mean? It means that you need everything that me and Men of High Value as a community has to offer. You need us, because this is an environment where you're suddenly put in there, okay? In this environment, let's say a shark tank, right? A shark tank, if you put a small shark in the small shark tank, okay? The shark is not going to grow bigger. It's going to remain that size. But if you put that small shark in a bigger shark tank, he's going to continuously grow, right? Until he's an adult shark male. The point is, you need a different environment where you have the opportunity and capacity to grow, right? So let's get rid of the excuses. Let's actually tap into Men of High Value and book your call below with Calendly.com. You can actually have your free discovery call. Let's get going here, right? Okay. But what about all the other guys? What did I mean by some people actually are right when they say that they are the exception? Well, if you are the exception to the rule and you're right, and you're actually one of those few people that have a legitimate excuse for why you can't put in the 80-hour work week, that is the biggest reason why you need Men of High Value and me in your life, to figure out your exception, to figure out that legitimate excuse that you've got, to brainstorm with you to get rid of that excuse. That is still an excuse. It might be a legitimate excuse, but it's still an excuse that shouldn't prevent you from actually doing what's necessary for you to get all of your dreams. So you definitely need us. If anything, you probably need us more than those guys that actually don't have any legitimate excuses, so that we can figure things out and get you going eventually with the 80-hour work week. Might take you a little bit extra time because of your current circumstance. Who knows? But I know that if we put our brains together, anything's possible. That's how coaching works. You're literally brainstorming, putting your minds together, and it's not just me. We've got a multitude of other dudes in Men of High Value that we can put our minds together and mastermind the hell out of your situation. What is this for? What is this channel for? It's to minimize the delay. It's to avoid procrastination. It's to help you to save decades of your life, because you're actually tapping into your full potential now in your early years, which are your foundational years. If you don't fix this now, you think it's going to be easier to fix your mindset at 35, 40, 45, 50? Oh my gosh. Like, who are you going to be if you keep being who you are today with all of your excuses continuously for the next couple of decades? Like, look at that situation and how that looks like. It's not pretty. You can see a bunch of those guys out in public every single day. Just look at them. They're in their 40s and 50s and are still stuck in that youth mindset with all of their excuses of why they couldn't have success. Unfortunately for them, they didn't have access to this channel probably, or they didn't choose to care about whoever tried to help them during that path. But I'm here for you today Thank you so much for watching. Again, make sure you book your discovery call. It's 25 minutes with me directly. This is an early stage of my channel. I've been doing this for 4 years, but I still have a little bit capacity left for a few more clients. Why not you? Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.